Okay, so welcome to lesson 1-5. Today we're going to be talking about the meaning of the slope of a best fit trend line. So in previous videos, 1-3 and 1-4, we talked about how to solve for slope, and we talked about how to use Desmos software to calculate the slope for you using the computer. If you don't know pretty confidently how to solve for slope, definitely want to take a look at those other videos. So we're going to be going a little bit more in depth here. Okay, but a quick reminder, slope is found by solving for the rise over the run. That means, like it says in the next bullet, all slopes are ratios. A ratio is something that tells you the relationship between two numbers. So they give you the amount of change in the y value for every like 1 unit of change in the x value. I want to actually highlight using our consistent color coding system. So our y value here is always going to be highlighted in green, and our x value is going to be highlighted here in blue. So again, the slope tells you the amount of change in the y value for every 1 change in the unit of the x value. On this graph right here, we got 2 parts of the line, an orange part and a red part. We're going to solve for the slope of each of those parts separately. Now you notice I drew a little triangle here. This green part is finding the rise, and the blue part is finding the run. One of the things people always have a hard time with is they just count the boxes. So it's pretty common for people to say that this is a rise of 2 and a run of 2. That is completely incorrect. You have to actually look at the value of the y-axis. So over here you can see that we're going by every single box is worth 10 units. And so this is a rise actually of 20. Let me do that again. It's a rise of $20 because I want to include the unit on there. When we're thinking about the meaning of a slope, it's very important to realize that we have a unit on this graph. For the run, this is going by 2s for every box. Or sorry, it's actually, that's a value of 2. Every box is 1 on the x-axis. But 2 what? So we're going to go 2 hours is what that means. For this part of the line, we still have a rise of $20, but we have a run of only 1 hour. So you can see the slope has changed because we have a different run for the same amount of rise. I hope this example is actually pretty helpful to you guys. I hope it's easy for you to visualize, because basically in the orange part of the graph, what's happening is we're getting $20 in 2 hours, whereas in the red part of the graph, we're getting $20 in 1 hour. So understanding the meaning of the slope is all about remembering the units that you have on your axes. In the example above, the slope is dollars over hours. And so we can say that you make, in the orange part, you make $20 for every 2 hours. Or we can flip that around and say every 2 hours you make $20. Either way. Hopefully you can see that if you make $20 every 2 hours, we could predict that you would make $40 in 4 hours. In the second part, the slope is, again, we're just going to specify this time. We're going to say that it's $20 over 1 hour. And so I'll highlight this in red. So you could make $20 every hour, or every hour you make $20. Again, hopefully you can see that allows you to predict that in 2 hours you would make $40, in 3 hours you would make $60. Typically, after we've written out the slope as a fraction, we'll then simplify it to a decimal, and this is where the unit stuff gets even more complicated. So we'll see that the unit on the top is dollars. The unit on the bottom is hours. So when I'm writing the unit for this number 10, I'm going to say that it is dollars per hour. Over here, we're going to do the same thing. You can see dollars in the y-axis, or in the top, hours in the bottom. So we're going to write the unit as dollars per hour. Hopefully you guys are familiar with that phrase of $10 an hour or $20 an hour, and that helps you kind of understand what we're talking about. In physics, it's not usually going to be dollars per hour, but it might be meters per second or miles per hour. Still the same idea. Writing the slope like this allows you to easily make predictions like you were just talking about. So if your pay is $10 an hour, you'd make, like we said, $20 in 2 hours and $30 in 3 hours. So that is how we interpret the meaning of the slope of a best fit trend line. Remember, it is all